Welcome everyone. In this video, I will be reviewing the Nonstop flight from JFK to Singapore on Singapore Airlines in business class. Hey everybody, I just wanted to put together a quick video to review the flight from JFK to Singapore. It was the longest flight that I had ever been on, just shy of 20 hours. And overall, I think it was a good experience. I've done the Emirates flight from Orlando to Dubai several times. Um, and I've also done other longer international flights. So I just kind of wanted to tell you about my experience in business class on Singapore Airlines and compare it to some of the other flights that I've been on to help you decide if that's the flight that you choose to do.
Okay, so um, we started off in Orlando and flying Delta to New York, which was kind of interesting. This is the first time we were doing it where we were flying a completely different airline locally than what we would continue on with internationally. So we got to New York. First, we were kind of worried because there were nobody to tell us where the gate would be, but we actually found it. It was in the same terminal, just a few gates down. So we were happy about that. We found a lounge and we were sitting there and suddenly got a phone call actually from Singapore Airlines telling us that there was confusion about our bags and they weren't even sure if we were going to be on the flight, but can appreciate that. So everything worked out, and when we arrived in Singapore, our bags were there. It was actually one of the first ones to come off the carousel, which was really great. But if the bags didn't make it, it could have been a whole different ball game. But yeah, so we got onto the flight, and as usual, we would put your hand luggage in overhead bin, but there were no overhead bins. We were on the center aisle, there were two seats, and so it turns out you actually kind of put your hand luggage underneath an area, and we will get to that a little later, but there is sort of like to the side of the seat in front of you, there's a little area where you can put your bag. So it's actually easier because you don't have to get up, get out of your seat, and reach for it if you need anything out of your hand luggage. So yeah, so we took off and everything was fine. They came with the meal service. This was something that was kind of disappointing for me because we did tell them up front that we would like vegetarian and a vegan meal, and uh, that they didn't get that. So we were offered, there were really three really meat heavy meals and one seafood. And then the only option for vegetarian for the whole flight was this sort of like a noodle soup. I guess that would be the vegan option as well. So I've been eating a lot of that. I mean, it wasn't bad, but I just really felt like with the whole world and a lot of the airlines slowly moving towards serving more plant-based meals and even a little healthier maybe, that was really lacking. But they had a good wine selection. We were happy with that. The service was very good. The flight attendants were friendly, helpful. But then time came for us to kind of want to go to bed. So what they do is they actually come to your seat, the flight attendant, and she detaches the back of your seat and flips it over, and now it becomes a bed. And as you are lying on the bed, there's like a little area, I'd say maybe a little bit more than a foot wide, where you're supposed to put your feet, and that is sort of like above where you put your carry-on. So that was kind of interesting because the whole flight you were kind of be lying sideways and your feet had to fit into that area, and in front of you is your TV screen. Normally it's a touchscreen. This one is not. So you have like a little remote on the side, which was a bit problematic for me because I kind of felt like um, the buttons were too small. Because as I was trying to watch a movie, I would kind of like hit exit instead of like fast forward. But I got used to it. It was almost like playing with the old BlueBerry phones where you had like the little mouse area in the middle. But yeah, so that was interesting. No, the only problem with lying down like that is you committed now to lying down. You can put your seat back into like just like a reclining position or a normally sit up position. No, you do have the backrest, so you can sort of scoot backwards and sit up, but it's really designed just to lie on. I'd say it was not the most comfortable mattress. I felt like I couldn't really lie on my back, but then I guess they kind of want you to lie on your side so your feet can fit into this little area that they had on the side. The one thing that was kind of disappointing for me, and I know this is not important for everybody, but like being a girly girl, I'm always excited to see like the little bag they give you with toiletries. This time they didn't give you anything unless you asked. So you had to, if you wanted socks, it was sort of a la carte items on the menu. So you could order whether you want socks or earplugs or eye mask. I asked for an eye mask and she gave it to me right away. She also offered me a toothbrush with some toothpaste, but all those things would normally be in your little cosmetic bag that they would give you. I did ask for one. All it had was a little lip balm, uh, and it was from La Labos, which is nice, but not one of the better known brands. But so it was a facial mist, a hand lotion, and a lip balm, and it was all kind of small, so it was a little bit disappointing. And it was just sort of in like a cloth bag. I don't even think I took it with me. But other than that, I think it was a good experience. It was a long flight. I felt like it did go by pretty quickly. The flight was very smooth, not a lot of turbulence. I felt like there might not have really been enough bathrooms. One of them was out of order. So we had one bathroom in the front and two in the back for, I'd say, maybe about 30 passengers. But it went well, and it was pleasant enough. Once we arrived in Singapore, the airport's beautiful. The only thing was that you kind of have to fill in your like a customs form, so you can either go to one of these kiosks, and they were not enough for all the people that got off the plane. But you could also do it on your phone. Luckily, they had Wi-Fi at the airport, so that worked out well. It took us a while, but we managed to do it. It's just like a little customs form where they ask you what you bring into the country, and ask your passport number and things like that. Once that was done, you don't see anybody. You just basically they scan. It's one of those automated ones. They scan your eyes. They know who you are. They you scan your passport, and you are in the country. We went. We got our bags. Beautiful airport. Everything from there went very smoothly. We got a cab and we went off to the hotel.
So overall, the biggest differences that I noticed on this flight over other business class long flights that I've been on, one of the biggest things was that the seats are a lot different. So for starters, on like Emirates, Turkish Airlines, Delta, American, any other business class flight where they have the lay down seats, typically you can just push a button to have the seat recline. With this one, you actually have to pull the seat down, and then there's like a bed and pillows behind it, and then you lay it down, and once it's laid down into a bed, you can't really change the, if you want to sit up at some point, it either is a bed or it's not a bed. So that was a bit different for me. It was a bit hard, even though there was some cushioning on the inside when they opened it up into a bed. It seemed a bit harder than other seats that we've been on. Like Emirates, for example, they usually give you a cushion that they'll put down on top of it for you, so it's a little more cushiony. Um, so that was the biggest difference with the seat. Uh, Also, the way that you had to lay down was a little weird. There was an opening where, when you were in the lay down position, you couldn't have your legs straight. You had to go into like this little nook in the corner. So when you were laying down, you were kind of crooked because your legs had to go into that little nook in the corner to have adequate space for your legs to lay down. Other than that, I did think that the entertainment was good, the service was good. They were pretty attentive. For those who prefer a vegetarian or vegan diet, just note that there was not really any vegetarian options. There's one option, so Anita ended up eating the same bowl of soup every meal that they offered. I thought that I did put it in there ahead of time that she wanted a vegan meal, but apparently it was not in there. So just make sure that you do let them know ahead of time if you want a vegetarian or vegan option, because there really isn't a lot to choose from. There are some pescatarian options though, if you're open to that. Um, for being such a long flight, I thought overall it was pretty comfortable. The other thing to note is on these other longer flights, they always usually just hand you an amenities bag, and in that bag you usually have your lotion and, lip gloss, face mist, whatever they include in there. A lot of times a toothbrush and a little bit of toothpaste, an eye pillow, things of that nature. And on this flight, you don't get one unless you ask for it. So if you ask for it, they'll bring it to you. if you don't ask for it, you don't get it. So I thought that was a little strange too, especially for it being such a long flight. Normally they'll pass that out in the beginning so that you have that. So if you don't know to ask for it, you won't get one. Um, but other than that, I thought overall it was a pretty comfortable flight. As far as price goes, I honestly think that I would probably in the future, unless I'm coming to Singapore specifically for some reason, I would probably opt for an Emirates flight as far as value goes. I do have to say though, the Singapore airport was really easy to navigate. Our bags came out super fast. It was easy to grab a taxi. Very similar to the airport in Dubai, where it's usually everything flows really easy there as well. I do like also with Emirates how they will provide you with transportation if you fly business class. That's always convenient too. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks for watching this. If you've been on this flight before, let me know what you thought. Make a comment in the comments, and if you're planning on doing it in the future, we'd love to hear from you as well. If you're interested in following us through more of our travels, we do some hotel reviews as well. Go ahead and like this post and follow us to see more about where we're going. Where